Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us again this week for another amazing Black founder and another Bet on Black pitch. My name is Tawana Rivers. I am the CEO of the 10K Project, and we are joined by Mr. Emil with Boaz Bikes. And I'm so excited about this founder. I shared with you guys a little bit yesterday. I have been trying to get Boaz Bikes since his first raise in November of 2021, I think it was. And I've got the LinkedIn messages to prove it. And Mr. Emil, I think you've had like 3 raises since then, right? I mean, you've been working, brother. You've been working hard. And so I am so excited that you're finally here with the 10K Project. And full disclosure, I will share to the community, I am an investor in this project. And I'm so excited to share what he's doing with you guys. Many of you may also be investors, because I said he raised 3 times, right? And so he's here with us tonight. We're gonna love on him a little bit. So let me go ahead and pull up the campaign page. Okay. Right. Slow. Stop it and pull it up again. There we go. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen. This campaign is on WeFunder, so you guys know we're very familiar with the WeFunder platform. I'll just run through some high-level information. The campaign goes live in 9 days, right? So we are part of the family and friends round. So super excited. There is a $15 million valuation. This is a convertible note, right? So for those of you who may not be familiar with what a convertible note is, you are loaning the money today for the opportunity to convert it to equity at a later date, right? And so the deal terms are in here. It is at an 8% discount. There are some investor perks. And you guys know I always tell you that the founder spends so much time trying to put information on their campaign page, all of the information that they know that you need in order to be comfortable with the deal terms and understand fully the project. So please take some time and read through this entire campaign page. A lot of your questions will be answered here this evening, but it's always a good idea to look through all of the information. If after the evening is over and you forget to ask a question and you think about it in the middle of the night, like I sometimes do, there's always a section here for you to go back and ask the question of the founder, and then the founder responds. I love this section because it also gives you the opportunity to see the other questions that people have asked, right? And it may be something that you never even thought to ask. And so it gives us an opportunity as investors to learn a little bit more about the project. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And Emil, this is where I turn it over to you to tell us all about who you are, your background, and obviously everything you want us to know about Boaz Bikes.
Sweet, I love it. First, thank you so much for having me. And I'm excited to chop it up with everybody. So I'm actually in a Chick-fil-A right now. I just relocated. I live in Dallas. I just relocated to Stephenville, Texas. City, never even heard about. But we just won this permit with Tarleton State University. It's a Division I college out here. And they needed scooters on the ground for the fall semester. So you know, who best to get it done but myself. So I'm out here, and my internet was supposed to be set up, but it didn't come. They didn't set it up today. So I'm here in Chick-fil-A. So I am going to make it do what it do.
Let's do it.
So I am a serial entrepreneur. This is what I love to do. I've been doing this since I was like 17. I had my first big break in retail. Made my first million in sales at 22. I own a chain of retail stores that extremely successful. Was extremely successful with retail. Made a lot of connections. And I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. So if anybody from North Carolina, I absolutely love you. But so I was in retail. My wife got sick. She's from Texas and she needed to be close to home. So I stopped, sold everything. And I had this startup at the time called Aaron Driver. So I was in the transportation space. It was years ahead of its time, but that's when I got exposed to venture capital. So I had a little bit of change saved up from selling the retail business. And I went out to Texas and started a transportation startup. Tried to raise capital, fell on my face a ton. It was extremely difficult. I bootstrapped it, spent all of my money, but I got it to a place where I was making about 10,000 in monthly revenue. And then Boaz came into the picture, and I'm gonna pull up my deck here so I can run through it. But I started Boaz back in 2018 after seeing somebody fall off a scooter. It was either Bird Alam, college kid out in Dallas, and the ambulance was out there. I stayed out there, I took some video, and I was just thinking like, man, this kid just fell off a scooter. His friends out there, people's crying, and in my head it was like, yo, his life would never be the same after this accident. And I got online, I started seeing that people were falling off of these scooters in different cities. And I was like, what in the world? So I knew that there was a real problem there. And coming from an engineering background, and I already had connects from my retail days overseas. So I got to designing a sit-down scooter and just knowing that, hey, well, put a seat on it, lower center of gravity, it'll be a lot safer. So that was that first aha moment for me, and had about a $250,000 left, and went in and had the app built the first prototype. So that was like mid 2018 when it happened. Then by the end of 2018, I had this prototype working app, and 2018 was when scooters really came into the US. Really, it wiped out the shared bicycle industry, and so I was a first mover. We came out with something with the swappable battery technology, which is now 5 years later, all of the other scooter companies are now coming out with it. We were the first ones to pioneer the swappable battery technology, which just made operations run smooth. But that was 2018. And man, I went out to San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and I tried to raise this capital, tried to get meetings, sending my deck over. They wouldn't meet me. They wouldn't talk with me whatsoever. It was absolutely horrible, draining. And you read all of these stories, they say, hey, well, you got to pitch 100 people to get one. And I'm like, well, the ratio, the numbers not adding up, because I'm sending out like 1,000 and I'm not getting my 10. So yeah, so I mean, it was depressing to fall on your face on your second startup in this VC space. But I didn't give up. That's one thing about me. I never, ever quit, never give up. I make pivots when I need to make pivots, and I get the job done. So 2019, I got out. I raised a family and friends round, raised about 350,000. Got my first 500 bikes ordered. Couldn't afford to pay for all 500 of them, so I was only able to get 200 of them. We launched our first city. We launched Plano. Then we went into Detroit. Then we went into Atlanta, and we were on fire. We were getting the steam up under us. We went and raised a WeFunder. So we raised 1.2 million on WeFunder, and then we get smacked with COVID. So COVID threw a wrench in the whole entire play, and I was like, what in the world? And you see companies like Gotcha, they had like 40 permits at the time, but it was mostly in universities, and no kids are going to school. So they went out of business, and they were selling their assets, and I was trying to buy it. But companies were going under due to COVID, and we pulled out of Atlanta and we doubled down in Detroit. So Detroit is where our headquarters at. I spent about 6 months out the year in Detroit. We make a killing in Detroit. Detroit, the city shows us so much love, and it is the Motor City. But so I'm gonna pull up my deck here too. But you know, let me put this plug in real quick. You know, when you told me about the 10K, right? I was like, man, I thought it was so dope, like, you know, to get in the space and just be able to chop it up, you know, without the walls, the guards, the boundaries or whatnot. So, you know, when you told me about it, I was like, sure, sign me up, because you know, I think it's absolutely cool.
Thank you.
Bet. So let me share the screen. I'm gonna share this deck. I'm gonna run through the deck, and whatever questions you guys have for me, we can most definitely go.
Awesome.
Let me see how can I move. All right. You can see that?
Yes, sir.
Sweet. To the side. All right, so Boaz Bikes, we are a revolutionary, eco-conscious micromobility company that's focused on safety, equity, low operating costs, city relations. I started the company in 2018 after seeing the scooter accident. So I started it based on safety. After I got in the industry, I saw all of the gaps. Certain neighborhoods, certain communities weren't being served and being overlooked, and my competitors, Bird, Lime, Spin, you know, focused on the high tourist areas or whatnot. So I truly believe that every single person deserves access to affordable, safe, and reliable transportation options, and I feel like Boaz can you know hatch away at providing that for the masses. So this is my team. I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is what I do. I love to create companies. I want to build a unicorn for my early investors. We have over 4,000 investors. I want that success story for them so that they can turn around, go and invest in more companies and truly build that generational wealth. So I love what I do. My co-founder, Winfrey, she came from building early Uber. She ran operations for early Uber, helped launch that in California way back when Uber started. Corey is our CFO, MBA in finance from Wharton. Alejandro is our CTO, handles all of our tech. The team most definitely rocks. I mean, we knit together. I mean, we've been together for, Alejandro's the newest to the C-suite, but Winfrey and Corey, Winfrey came on in 2018, the end of 2018 with me, and Corey came on January 2019. Well, let me tell you a funny story though. So with them, so I didn't have any money, right? And you know, obviously, you know, they have, you know, impressive backgrounds or whatnot to work for any startup. And I remember getting on the phone and pitching it to Winfrey and like, hey, you know, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, and in 6 months we're gonna go and raise this capital. And yeah, so I just need you to come on for free for the first 6 months. And yeah, you know, we're gonna do this together, and we're gonna do this and do this and do this, and then 6 months go past and we don't raise anything. And it was like, but after that point, they were already in love with it. They believed in it. They were, you know, devoted to it at that time. So it was like, you know, we already went too far. You couldn't turn back now. So yeah, I love these guys. We've had over 250,000 rides to date with 0 reported accidents. And that's a big flex because of the CDC did a study a couple of years ago, and they showed for every 100,000 scooter rides, there were 19 serious reported accidents. It was more accidents than 19, but those were the ones that were reported, had to go to emergency room or whatever. And we've had over 250,000 of them with 0 reported accidents. So we are not just saying, we're the safest alternative out there. We're actually proving it. And there's more than just our safety features on the bike, which I'll jump into. We hold 8 permits, over 50,000 app downloads. We've generated over $1.5 million in total revenue. Like I said, we've raised over 2 million. We did 1.2 on WeFunder, we did 350,000 on Start Engine, and we did about a little over 800,000 from like angel investors offline. And now we're swinging right back to WeFunder to raise this new round, which I'll tell you guys about here shortly. Problem we're solving is safety, equity, and our competitors. Bird is now a public company. They're not profitable. Hellbiz is also a public company, also not profitable. And one thing early on, Bird, Lime, they both raised during that micromobility hype, they both raised about $1 billion, and they burnt through it. Bird is right now, I think their balance sheet is like 30 million, so they're broke. But they spent a lot of money chasing after these markets and not really perfecting the business. And one thing we didn't have that luxury to do early on was burn capital to grow. So we had to grow. We had to grow slow. We had to grow, making money. We couldn't just keep losing money. So we focused on operations. And that's why we believe our tech is probably the best tech that's out here for our operations, because we spent the last 5 years getting it right. And I'll talk about that here. The solution is Boaz, and we run a 24/7 operation team. So when it comes to safety, our vehicles are a lot safer. I'll show you a picture here in a second. Our vehicles are a lot safer with the seated scooters, lower center of gravity, first ones to put turn signals on the scooter. We have side mirrors. We put a basket for hands-free riding, but we also inspect our vehicles daily. So since we run a 24/7 field team, we're constantly grabbing vehicles, inspecting them. We're swapping batteries so they can stay longer out there. We use our proprietary technology, which we call Iris, to help us predict where rides are going. So we operate with a smaller fleet, right? Our competitors will come into a city with 1,000 scooters. We can come into that same city with 300 scooters and make those vehicles feel like 1,000 by constantly moving them all around the city. So we're moving them from lower demand areas to higher demand areas, depending on what time of the day. So in the morning, it will be people going to work. So maybe scooters are mainly at apartment complexes. In the afternoon, they're grabbing something to eat. In the evening, they're joyriding. So maybe close towards the hotel. So we use technology to help us move these vehicles around the city to make those vehicles feel like it's more. And so we get more rides out of each vehicle. And by doing that, it allows us, during slow parts of the day, it allows us to put more vehicles in these equity zones so that we can give everyone access to vehicles to get from point A to point B. This is a diagram of how it works, of us shipping the vehicles all throughout the city, throughout the day, constantly inspecting. I mean, one thing our competitors don't do is, if you're in a big city, you probably already know when you go up to a scooter, it could be broken. And if it is, and you're God forbid, but you fall off of it and there's another accident. But our vehicles are inspected daily and are in good shape when they're out there in the field. So we're cutting down on those accidents that could happen. Here's the opportunity. So we just secured 3 new permits. And the biggest one right now is Orange County, Florida. I told you guys I'm here in Stephenville for this Tarleton State University launch, which is our first university, which is expected to be, $1 million plus in revenue just out of this one college. But I feel like we are going to blow that out the water, just seeing it up close to whatnot. But Orange County, Florida is where Orlando is. Disney, tourists, huge market. It consists of like 13 cities and towns that we beat out. It's about 9 national scooter companies right now. And, we are the only minority owned one on a national level, but we beat everybody out. 3 operators won, Birdline and Boaz. So to go into this, we're raising at least 1.5 million to go into Orange County. And we need this because this is a huge win. We are projecting about 9 million in revenue out of the Orange County market. And we'll break that down here in a second. This is what it looks like. Our main market is Detroit, Michigan, seasonal market, followed by Tempe, Arizona. We have 3 markets in Arizona. If you're familiar with Arizona, all of these cities are like 20 minutes apart from each other. We're looking at adding 2 more cities in Arizona, and that will help with our shuttle business. We're looking to do equity shuttles in our Arizona market first, because we're in these cities so close to each other where you can request a shuttle to pick you up and it takes you to a nearby scooter. So we're either taking out the first mile leg or the last mile leg of your trip. So equity shuttle to a scooter, jump on the scooter, you go the rest of the way. So Lord willing, we raise our entire 3 million. We will be running the shuttle business in our Arizona markets. But these are the permits that we already have secured. Now, these are seasonal markets. And the beautiful thing about Orlando is that we get to operate year round. So we're able to generate more revenue out of these markets. This is what annual recurring revenue looks like here at the bottom. I'll briefly go through these numbers. So what it looks like for us is that one vehicle generates about $350 in monthly recurring revenue. And with Orange County, we won the permit to deploy 3,000 vehicles within the market. We're looking at rolling out with 1,300 vehicles here, 1,300 vehicles, which will get us to this 455,000 in monthly recurring revenue. That's Orange County. This is what our thought I mentioned. This is what our Tarrant State looks like. We're looking at 1.5 million in annual revenue out of Tarrant State. This is Flint, Michigan, which is a partnership with a company called Commute, and they do self-charging. So they do self-charging stations. They have a grant and they've already built self-charging stations within the city. So, and they've already built it on our vehicle. So they're really just waiting on us to come and launch within the city, where we'll be the only provider. And we'll be, this will be a pilot. So this will be us testing this market, testing this operation out to see how it works with the scooters charging themselves up at a hub. We'll give the user a discount to park it at a hub, see if it cuts down on that cost and see if it makes sense to take this model into other markets. So latest study just showed that in 2022, the US scooter market was a $1 billion market. It's growing to a $6 billion market by the end of 2025. So we're looking at crazy, amazing growth. And, the US is following what happens overseas in the micromobility space, and it's blowing up. More people are going to use these smaller vehicles to get from point A to point B for those short trips. And we are in the right position to take it. We've been growing in revenue year after year. We're expecting to hit about 54 million in annual revenue by 2025. That's just with us expanding in the markets that's currently accessible to us. So we also have been approved for LA, which, Lord willing, we raised this 3 million in this round. We'll be looking at rolling out in LA in Q1 of 2024. Right now, the focus is Orange County and the university. This is us. I mean, we are killing it on operations. Nobody can really compete with us on operations. We've been able to see the back end of Spin, of Bird, of Lime, of their operations apps, and makes you wonder, like, man, you had $1 billion in, what in the world did you do with it? But this is us on the safety side. We are in 8. We do have 8 permits, and we're just looking to keep growing off of that. Worst case, mid case scenario. Hopefully, it's best case scenario, we raise an entire 3 million, but if we only raise the 1 million, and we're still going to continue our growth. We raise the 1 million. If we can raise it quickly, we'll end up doing about 2.5 million in revenue this year, depending on how quick we can raise and get bikes on the ground in Orange County, and get more bikes on the ground and the markets that we already have secured. But hopefully we hit the best case scenarios. But this is what the rollout looks like. As you can see, we're supposed to open up this crowdfund August 1st. We pushed it back to August 18th. We're in that spot where we need to raise at least 50K on the crowdfund in order for us to go public on their platform. So far, we're at about 20K. We did just raise, like 2 weeks ago, we closed a deal with High Street Equity. They did 100,000 at the same valuation we raising at. So we raising at a 20 million, but the first 250,000 is in at 15 million. And they just invested 100K at 15 million, but it doesn't show on our platform. So we need to cross that 50K threshold in order for us to go live, hopefully within the next 10, 11 days. My name is Emil Nani. I am the founder of Boaz Bikes. I absolutely love what I do. And yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful presentation. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. And that's the design. So that's the bike.
So the models now, this is an older model. The model now has an enclosed basket. So your stuff won't fly out. And instead of tube tires, now they're tubeless tires. So we don't change tires. Tires last as long as the bikes do.
Wow. I like that. That's a lot safer design. Like, I am not surprised. 0 accidents. Not surprised at all. All right. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen, email, so we can be bigger on the screen. Guys, go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A. I see some popping in there. You know, I always like to start because I too am an investor. So I'm gonna ask some questions as well. First of all, again, congratulations for all that you've accomplished. 250,000 rides and 0 accidents. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I remember when the scooters first started, I first started seeing them in my downtown area. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and I actually saw an accident where a scooter ran into the back of a car and kind of flipped over. It was bad. It was ugly. And I remember that day saying, I'm never getting on one of them things. Like that, and I never have, because I was like, It was bad. And you would hear about it in the city from time to time, right? So I'm sure my city is part of that 19 for every 50,000 because I know we've heard about it. And so when I first saw your campaign and saw that you were solving the safety issue, for me, it resonated immediately because I saw an accident, right? So for me, it was like, oh, this is a no-brainer because I saw a dude when he couldn't get up and the ambulance had to come and it was ugly, right? And so I was like, if this is a way that people can still get around safer. Other thing I remember noticing is you used to see the bicycles, right? Like there was like Citibank had a bunch of bicycles, like the bicycles were prevalent. And then in a blink of an eye, you didn't see the bicycles anymore and you only saw scooters. And I remember when I saw your campaign thinking, this is a thing. Like this is an industry. Now I didn't know what it was called. Now I know it's called micromobility, right? I didn't know what it was called, but I was aware enough to know there was something there. And so to see you now, 3 years later almost, right? It's a really big deal. And I'm really just proud of you. We've got founders closing their doors left and right because they can't make headway. They can't get any funding. They can't just push through. And so to see you be able to do that and survive COVID and all the things that you've been able to survive, and you're here still raising capital, still, getting permits and making deals is absolutely wonderful. So again, congratulations for that. We are here to love on you a little bit, not just to help you raise capital. And so we are really, really proud. And for, anybody who's sitting at home and they've got the kids in front of the computer watching, this is what Black excellence looks like. And so, we want you to see that every single day so that you can emulate that. And so thank you so very much for your contribution to that. I've got a couple of questions. So when we talk about, I love that your slide talks about the worst case scenario, the mid case, and then the best case. And I'll be honest, we've watched a ton of pitches over the last 3 years. I don't think I've ever seen a slide that broke it out like that. And I absolutely love that because it lets me know you're already thinking about your plan A, your B, your C, right? What can I do with a little bit? That is such the plight of the Black founder though, right? We're so used to working with less than what we need that we've got to figure out how to make it work anyway, because the plan is still the plan. And so if we want to talk a little bit about the worst case scenario again. So let's talk through, if you don't get the whole 3 million, what does that mean for the team that goes out and tries to get additional permits? Do they work twice as hard to try to get some more business to make up for the revenue that wasn't raised? What's the plan there?
Yeah, so since 2022 we were cash flow positive. We're in a position for 2023 when we finish this year to have that net profit. So no matter what, even worst case scenario, we'll still keep growing because we can grow off cash flow. The only thing changes is how fast we can grow over the next 24 months. So yeah, the team will still keep winning permits, and now we're in such a sweet spot. Is that now the cities are calling us saying, hey, can you apply for our program? And before, it was, 9 companies and we're all fighting hard to try to win these permits. And now it's like everybody cash is dried up, and now we have to be strategic on which cities we go into, that they're calling us and saying, hey, not enough companies applied. Can you come and apply as well?
That's a sweet position to be in when they start calling you.
No, that's right.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So do you think you'll look at more universities? I mean, it sounds like that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, so this is our first university, and we do have data from an old company that I was telling you guys about, Gotcha, that went out of business, and when they were doing a little over $500,000 out of each university. So we'll see what will happen with this, but it looks like we do need to go and secure more universities. And we're in talks with 2 more right now.
All right, community. This is when you come up, all of you guys that have relationships at universities. We need you to go ahead and hit the founder up and get some of those connections going for him. Very good. All right, let's get some of the questions. Eddie said, evening, my brother, amazing business and structure. He's giving you a fist bump. Eddie said, if this has not been asked already, if so, disregard. Have you factored in or considered ad revenue from selling sign space on the bikes? And if you will include helmets as well?
Most definitely. So the cities are tricky. Detroit being our main market, they don't allow any type of advertising on the vehicles. But if a city does offer it, I'm always open to try to figure it out. But yeah, right now the markets that we in don't allow us to advertise, but it's most definitely a play. So we are looking at advertising within the app,
That's what I was gonna
partner
ask.
up with
Yeah.
maybe food, restaurants. So once we get some funding and we can start to build out that B2B side a little better, we'll most definitely see how we can drive traffic to restaurants, gas stations, to generate more revenue.
Nice. Very, very good. You asked my question. Okay, so as someone who has never been on a scooter, how easy is it to take possession of it? So walk us through just for a moment what the process is. So, because like one time one was parked out in front of my house, right? Somebody just dropped it in front of my house. Like, what's the process for getting on a scooter?
Yeah, so every scooter has a IoT device on it, just like little computer, Internet of Things, and you just download our mobile app. You go up to the scooter, you'll put in your credit card. You can do Apple Pay, Google Pay, put it in our mobile app. You go to the scooter, scan the QR code on it. The app turns the scooter on for you. And we charge about a minute. Right now, the average charge is like 45 cents per minute. In the city, in our equity zones, they get half off. But you scan the scooter, app turns it on, you ride. Whenever you get done, you go in the app, turn it off, and you just leave it anywhere. That's the dockless model. They all have GPS trackers on them, so we know exactly where they're at. Like I said, we built for operations, so we know when a vehicle is knocked over on the ground. So since we have that 24/7 team out there, we're constantly picking them up and relocating them. So the city stays happy with us for making sure we don't leave this eyesore in the city and scooters piled up on top of each other. And we know whenever a vehicle is picked up off the ground, so if somebody's trying to steal it, put it in their car, we know immediately in real time. And since we already have team members in the field, we can dispatch them to that area. So it's been a couple times, we've had to pull up on people and say, hey man, you got to take the scooter out your car, man. You can't take it home or whatnot. So yeah, so that's how it works. Everything is done through a mobile app.
Nice. People be trying it, don't they?
They do.
Jeez. Jackie said, she said, nice scooters. Is there a built-in lock feature to prevent theft? I think you just went over that.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, they can't ride it without turning it on within the app, and we know where it's at all 24/7.
Good. Dwayne said, please explain the name Boaz.
So Boaz is a biblical character, and I'm a believer in. I needed a 4-letter word back in 2018, and you had Bird, Lyft, Lime, Uber. I was like, I need a 4-letter word, and Boaz was a biblical character who was strong, had great character, did right, everything I thought a company should stand for, and I was like, Boaz, that's what it is. So yeah, that's how we came up with it.
Nice. I never paid attention to they were all 4-letter words. Huh. Interesting. And I'm sure there's a business strategy around that, but I never connected that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Chandra says, I followed Boaz Bikes for a while and I'm impressed with your progress. Still hoping you come to New York City. She said, this year we've had a rash of fires due to e-bike and e-scooter batteries. What safety measures do you employ concerning your batteries?
Sweet. So the reason why a lot of these batteries are blowing up are because of these, you know, batteries built overseas, and they're cutting corners, and they're not, you know, getting that EU certification. Um, we, you know, knock on wood, but God forbid, we haven't had that. So we don't cut corners on batteries. All of our batteries are certified, and they go through custom clearance the right way that it's supposed to. Um, so yeah, we just make sure we don't cut corners on the batteries, so that we get you know, we get the right ones within the vehicles.
Nice. Very, very good. Bernard said, while I was in Orlando, Florida, I saw some scooters. I thought of you, he said. He said he told his wife that he missed your first raise, but now you're here tonight and he's all in.
My God, thank you.
Wonderful, Bernard. Bonnie said, because of the changes in city legislation, is Orlando, Florida going to be a problematic market since tourism is way down?
Yeah, so I thought about it, and I mean, even though it's down, and you know, people are staying away from it, you know, it's still a lot busier than any other market that we currently operate in. So, you know, it'll still be a win for us, unless, you know, everybody stop coming to the city completely. I mean, which I find that hard.
Yeah, but Orlando's one of those really good foot traffic cities. I mean, not as much as a New York or Chicago, but they've got a lot of foot traffic, which I would imagine is good. Cities like that is good for this type of business. Yeah. John said, what's the plan for Atlanta? So you were in Atlanta, you got out of Atlanta, going back?
Most definitely. We had so much love in Atlanta. So we pulled out due to the pandemic. The city didn't know. They were saying, hey, you know, no scooters, COVID. We don't know what was going on. On the other end, Detroit was like, hey, you know, people can't get on buses. We need scooters. So that's the reason why we doubled down on Detroit. But um, I anticipate us going, Atlanta reopens back up to start accepting permits in June. So I anticipate us going into the market next summer.
Nice. Miss Carla Napa said, hi, Carla. Carla said, what do you view as your competitive advantage?
So, I mean, it's so much that just makes it better, you know, with the vehicle being, you know, obviously in the Cedar scooter, there are like two knockoffs that's also Cedar scooters, but the top three are are broke. I mean, when I say these guys are out of money, they're out of money. They put hundreds of millions of dollars into these stand-up scooters. So my top three competitors are not in a position to just, you know, switch their whole entire fleet. So we do have that runway, that we do have that runway on it. Our management team, we don't manage the company from a board like our top three competitors. We're actually here in the ground. I know what the people want. You know, we can see when we're small enough and to make these pivots, and resourceful enough and witty enough to make it. Like, you know, I'm here at our first university college. So I'm gonna be here for the next three months. So I believe just running it and operating it from the ground is a amazing competitive advantage that the top three guys don't have. And us being able to know that our operation is stellar, what we've learned and built over the last 5 years, they have to catch up, you know. So that gives us another runway on top of it, is that we built ourselves for operations to operate at the highest level possible. Yeah.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, the commitment to go, you know, a new market, and for you to go and live there, right? To make sure everything is the way it should be. I think that talks about a level of commitment that you don't see often. I mean, leaving your family and going to, you know, 3 months is a long time to be away. And you have these other cities where you still are running the business. So, you know, that again, it just really speaks to the type of founder you are, I think, and your commitment to, you know, making sure everything runs exactly the way it's supposed to. So very good. Lorraine said, any plans to come to Philly?
I absolutely love Philly. Yeah, so it's not at the top of the list right now. And just mainly because we have to be so strategic. I really want to focus more on these year-round markets where we don't have to, put scooters up during extremely cold weather or whatnot. But it's coming, I can see us getting there, within the next 2 years.
Good. So we know funding, right? We know you need funding. We know you need eyes on this campaign. What else do you need as an organization?
I mean, I don't know what else we need outside of funding. I mean, we're at that level right now where we're crushing it, we're killing it, and it's more demand than it is supply. And our bottleneck is funding. Man, I don't know. Prayers for it, funding really.
Okay. All right. Funding it is. Are you selling any of the scooters to the private market? Like, I don't want to rent it. I want to own my own. Is there an opportunity to buy the scooters?
Yeah, so we do sell them online. They're $1,000, like 900 some change. We don't push it mainly because our supply is extremely low. So we can sell that vehicle one time for 1,000, but it makes us 350 in revenue on every
Right.
month. So, once we get funding and we restock, we'll start running ads to push it again.
Nice. John said him and his wife rode birds. He said his wife said never again. They were in Detroit and they saw Boaz bikes everywhere. And she said she would ride that.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
I love it.
I love that. Anonymous says, is there a future plan to potentially expand to 2-person or more scooters?
Look, Anonymous, you are on track. So we actually have a pending patent right now for our newest vehicle, our Model 3 vehicle, which is a 2-seater scooter. And we know, and this is from us being on the ground, like you see people in the cities and you see them with their kid riding or a boyfriend, girlfriend, 2 people riding at once, extremely dangerous. So we know that this is going to change this micromobility space once we can put 2 people on one vehicle. So yes, that is in the future, but Anonymous, we need some funding, baby.
All right. John says, where are the bikes manufactured?
They are manufactured in China and they are assembled in our Detroit warehouse.
Right. Patrice says, I'm in Los Angeles and a lot of areas have banned the scooters because they were littering the streets. How big is the field team for scooters in the field? And then she said, why Orange County?
All right, sweet. Yeah, so like I said, one of our problems that we're solving is the city relations. So Bird and Lime has put a nasty taste in the mouth of the cities. And with us, we use technology so that we don't litter the streets, and having that 24/7 field team, we're always able to go and pick these vehicles up, in a appropriate time. What those numbers will look like right now in Detroit, we run about 20, 25 team members, and we know that's going to look totally different in LA with it spread out. So LA will be a learning curve, and we're already approved to launch in LA. And so the reason why we picked Orange County over LA was LA is an open market where if you just pay the city permit, you can pretty much come and operate. Orange County is exclusive, so it's only 3 operators throughout 13 cities or whatnot. So, and it'll cost us less to go into Orange County than it would for us to go into LA right now.
Okay. Bernard said, what about having ambassadors to sell for you if you sell online with an affiliate type program?
Sweet. Yeah, Bernard. So we did something like that back in 2020, and I think we sold like $40,000 worth of vehicles. So it most definitely worked. Most definitely solid. But right now, like supply is low.
The inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the focus right now is securing these markets, getting bikes on the streets in these markets. But as soon as we re-up in 2024, we will most definitely roll that ambassador program back out.
Yeah, very, very good. Oh, we've got a comment in Facebook. Dean said that he invested early, looking to add to his investment.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you so much for the support, brother.
Very good. Any other questions for Emil? Any other questions? These were great questions this evening. The only question you guys haven't asked yet, I've been trying not to ask it because I know somebody always loves to ask it, but what's the exit plan?
Sweet. So since, we're one of these few companies, scooter companies that have, been cash flow positive, and, we're expecting to be net profitable this year. We have, multiple options. Right now, we are looking to be acquired within the next 18 months, and that is more than likely the path that we'll end up taking. And you saw the slide where we're saying by 2025, we're trying to hit that 54 million in annual revenue. And just to put that into perspective, compared to company Hellbiz, they did 10 million in revenue, and they went public at a $300 million valuation. They're obviously, down right now, but so just to, and that was 2021 when they went public. So way different market than it is now, but they did 10 million in revenue, 300 million valuation when they did a SPAC deal. So we could go public as well, but acquisition looks like the way we'll probably end up taking.
Okay, that's a serial entrepreneur answer. Because I'm sure you already got another business in that brain of yours cooking up. I love it, love it, love it. Just make sure you bring that next idea to 10K project too. Oh, goodness. Carla says, not asking for details, but curious to know if you're planning, if in your planning, you perform a SWOT analysis. And she goes on to explain what that is: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Well, most definitely. I think we did that early on, and I may just add it to the WeFunder as well. Yeah.
Nice. Are you ever planning to bring the manufacturing back to US or Detroit? That's a great question. So assembled in Detroit, but would be nice if it was manufactured in the USA. That's the only thing I think that can make this better.
That's right. But without saying too much, we just had a conversation about a week ago. So let's see what happens.
It all comes back to the funding, doesn't it?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Anonymous says, have you considered targeting sports stadiums, concerts, etc., and similar where there is normally long walks to and from their own vehicles?
Yeah, most definitely. So when it comes to these sports teams, these stadiums, so you have to get permits within the city. So since we are permitted in Detroit, we've been working with Olympia to try to be this exclusive partner. And it's just like the cities and these colleges, they just very, 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 very slow in everything they do. But it's most definitely a win if we can get some more exclusive partnerships.
Good. Very, very good. Any other questions? Any other questions, guys, before I give my final words, and then we'll let Emil give his final words. I'll start mine while you guys are thinking of your final questions. The mission of the 10K project is really simple. It's to help Black founders raise the capital that they need so that they can realize their dreams and stay in business and, change the world with whatever their product, service, or industry is, right? I love that you saw a problem and you have built something that has proven to solve that problem, right? With 0 accidents, you've done it. You've absolutely done it. And I absolutely love when founders get to realize some of their dreams, but realizing some of your dreams is not enough. We want you to realize all of them. And so we exist so that you can get as many eyes on your campaigns as possible, and so that we can help you get that funding. So to the community, if this is a business that has resonated with you and you believe it fits in your portfolio, please consider investing. Do your due diligence. I always tell you that. I'm not going to tell you anything different tonight. Do your due diligence. But even more than investing, you have to share this campaign, right? Please share it, share it, share it again. Put it on your social media pages, share it with your friends and family members. If you have family in the Detroit area and in Flint, and if you have some that go to that university, make sure you especially share it with them, right? Because as a user of a product, oftentimes we never get the opportunity to also invest in that product or service. And so how cool would it be for the people in Detroit as they're riding their Boaz bike to be able to also be investors as well? And so, share that. And I know we've got a pretty big Detroit following. So for all my Detroit people, y'all gonna get a special email tomorrow because we really want you guys to consider supporting. But really, share the campaign. We know why we're here. We know why we show up every week. And so it's now time for us to show up and show out and help this founder. As I stated, I'm an early investor. And actually, Dean, I think you told me about Boaz initially. I think that's how I first saw them. Sometimes Dean calls me. I was like, sis, did you see this one? And so, as an early investor, to see the company still thriving is so wonderful to experience. And so, for you to also come back and do multiple rounds in this space that many find very difficult to raise capital in. You've been successful doing it now 3 times, right? This is your 3rd time and we're already claiming your success. And so to have you come into this equity crowdfunding space and give the everyday investor an opportunity, that is huge in my opinion, absolutely huge. And so, thank you for that. And so we are here to take advantage of that opportunity because we understand how important it is to give us the opportunity to build wealth, right? To know that these other companies had $1 billion and now they don't have any money it breaks my heart for them. But it also breaks my heart for our founders who have to scrounge for the first million, right? The first 353,000, right? You got to scrounge for it and be real scrappy with how you maintain it. And so again, a testament to the type of founder you are, that you have sustained this industry with companies that had way more resources than you. Now you're leading the pack. If that doesn't equal success, I don't know what else does. And so, for my community, I hope they rally around you and that you can get the 3 million that you need. We can get you out there and you get the 3 million that you need, because I want the best case scenario on that slide to happen for you. Okay. And so thank you so much, brother, for coming and joining us. What do you want to say to the community before we say good evening?
I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to come and share the opportunity with you guys, and just want you to know that this is what I do. Failure is not an option. Quitting is not an option. I mean, I am going to win, and yeah, I hope you guys ride with me to the wheels fall off.
I love it. I love it. Don't forget, guys, this is a convertible note opportunity. Emil said he's raised already about 20 He needs about 30 in order for a WeFunder to then open up their bigger network of hundreds of thousands of investors, right? That would get the newsletter and see this. And so, you know, we've been here before where it's been our job to be the rich aunties and uncles and get the founder through the family and friends round. And so, you know, activate your rich auntie and uncle special superpowers so that we can do our part to help this brother get to where his company needs to be. Thank you again to you and your team. I don't want to forget to say thank you to your team, because I know they're out there. If you somewhere for 3 months, they somewhere else holding it down. So thank you to them as well for doing, you know, what they're doing, for being good partners to help you through all of this. So thank you so much again. Thank you for answering your girls' email this time. It's been absolutely a pleasure. And you're part of the community now, right? You know, you're here, you're with us as you get updates for things, as you start to need field teams in certain cities, or you need a university connect, like, we're here for you. We are now your community. This is not a one and done for us. Our job is to rally around you always, because now you're part of the 10K project community. And so I imagine, I know we've got some university connections because we've talked about them before. So I know people are going to be sending me information, and I'm gonna send over to you, so that you can get some more permits. That's going to let you buy some more vehicles and get it. You know, we're going to do this for you. I mean, you've done all of this in such a short time. I mean, really, you think about it, the accomplishments you've made in just 3-4 years, it's really just huge what you've been able to accomplish. So congratulations again, and have an absolute wonderful evening.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. All right. Good night. Good night, everybody.